What if I told you that your brain registers a high price tag using the exact same neural hardware it uses to process the smell of rotting food? Sounds crazy, right? But it's actually 100% true. Today, we are going to look at why we overspend. And spoiler alert, it's not because you just lack willpower. It's actually because of a fundamental conflict between your primitive neurobiology and our increasingly frictionless modern economic world.
So why does spending money literally hurt? Well, for years, economists talked about the pain of paying as just a metaphor. But recent neuroscience research proves it's not a metaphor at all. When you're faced with paying for something, brain scans show massive activation in a region called the Anterior Insula. Now, that's the exact same part of your brain that lights up when you experience actual physical pain or when you feel intense disgust. So neurologically speaking, parting with your money literally physically hurts. Your brain actually treats spending as a physical wound.
But here's where things get really weird. If spending money hurts so much, why do our spending habits look so completely irrational? Just think about your own life for a second. You will sit there and agonize for 20 minutes over paying $2 to upgrade an app on your phone, right? You're reading the reviews, pacing around, debating if it's really worth it. But then, at 11 p.m. on a random Sunday, you'll blindly drop $148 on a Lululemon hoodie you just saw on TikTok without even batting an eye. Most people don't realize this, but that exact inconsistency is the absolute key to understanding how our brains are being bypassed.
To solve this mystery, we have to answer a couple of really fascinating questions. Like, why does dividing a $400 purchase into 4 $100 buy now, pay later installments suddenly make it feel like free money? And even deeper than that, how are emotionally charged events from when you were just 7 years old secretly dictating the way you drain your adult bank account today? Well, to figure that out, we first need to understand how the brakes in your brain actually work.
That biological brake pedal I mentioned earlier is heavily dependent on this concept called the pain of paying. See, when you physically hand over a crisp $100 bill to a cashier, you feel that loss. You literally see your wallet getting thinner. The pain is high, so the mental brake is fully engaged. But when you swipe a credit card or double tap your phone or use an app, that pain drops off a cliff. You are separating the fun act of consuming from the painful act of paying. And without that friction, your biological brake completely fails.
And you know, this irrationality goes even deeper with something called mental accounting. This was developed by behavioral economist Richard Thaler, and it basically shows that we put different types of money into different imaginary buckets in our heads. Economically speaking, a dollar is just a dollar, but psychologically, not even close. If you get a $1,000 tax refund, your brain instantly categorizes it as windfall bonus money. You're highly likely to blow it on a vacation, even if you currently have high-interest credit card debt staring you down. But if you earn that exact same $1,000 from a hard week of grueling work, you'd never spend it so frivolously. Basically, your brain is playing tricks with your wallet based entirely on how that money arrived.
Now, I want to share a staggering twist here that completely changes how we view financial mistakes. 14 points. That is exactly how much your IQ can drop simply from the stress of worrying about money. Research from Harvard and Princeton actually demonstrates that having a scarcity mindset imposes a massive bandwidth tax on your brain. When you are constantly worried about paying bills, your cognitive capacity drops so drastically, it's literally equivalent to losing an entire night of sleep. So the really crucial point here is this. When you are financially stressed, you are biologically less capable of making smart financial decisions, which tragically makes you even more vulnerable to impulse buying.
Section 1. Weaponized retail technology, industrialized impulsivity.
Listen, if you struggle with overspending, you really need to absolve yourself of some of that guilt right now. You aren't just fighting a lack of willpower, you are fighting an asymmetric war against multi-billion-dollar companies that have completely weaponized retail technology. Just look at the staggering effectiveness of frictionless commerce. When Amazon introduced one-click checkout, literally removing the friction of typing in shipping and billing details, customer spending jumped by nearly 30%. Buy now, pay later services, which fragment that pain of paying into smaller, seemingly trivial chunks, increase order values by up to 50%. And those push notifications lighting up your phone, they trigger a dopamine loop that gets you to open shopping apps 3.5 times more often. They are quite literally stepping on the gas pedal of your brain's reward system.
And it gets crazier, because when they aren't removing friction to get you to buy, they are weaponizing friction to stop you from leaving. In the tech world, these are called dark patterns. They are deliberate design choices intended to cause total cognitive exhaustion. A prime example is Amazon's infamous Project Rube. This was a labyrinthine system specifically designed to make canceling Prime subscriptions so confusing and so exhausting that users would just give up. The FTC actually caught them doing this, resulting in a historic $2.5 billion settlement. They are purposely exhausting your mental energy just to manipulate your wallet.
Section 2. Your hidden money script. The childhood roots of spending.
But here's the thing, the technology is really only half the story. The other half is actually inside us. Financial psychologist Dr. Brad Klontz discovered that our habits are driven by financial flashpoints. These are emotionally charged childhood events that shape our unconscious beliefs. Basically, that 7-year-old version of you is running a hidden script today. Dr. Klontz identified 4 distinct ones, so do a quick mental check and see which of these sounds like you. First is money avoidance. This is believing money is inherently bad or that you don't deserve it, which usually leads to ignoring your bank statements entirely. Second is money worship, the deep belief that more money will magically solve all of your life's emotional problems. Third is money status. This is linking your absolute self-worth to your net worth, which drives extreme spending just to project an image of affluence. And finally, money vigilance, extreme frugality that is driven by anxiety, which can actually prevent you from ever enjoying your own success.
Understanding these scripts is kind of like turning on the lights in a dark room. Suddenly, all your irrational behavior makes total sense. If you're finding these hidden psychological blind spots as fascinating as I am, take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. We love exploring the invisible forces that drive our everyday behavior, and having you along for the journey makes it even better.
Section 3. Taking back control. Reintroducing friction.
So how do we actually fix this? We're fighting biological glitches on one side and engineered tech on the other. Well, the only way to win is to intentionally put the friction back into our lives and rebuild those biological brakes. Here is some highly actionable, scientifically backed advice to do exactly that. Step 1. The 24-hour rule. Force a hard delay between adding an item to your online cart and actually clicking buy. This simple bit of friction allows that impulsive dopamine spike to subside and lets your rational prefrontal cortex get back into the driver's seat. Step 2. Notification batching. Change your phone settings right now so you only receive alerts maybe 3 times a day. You have to stop those intermittent dopamine hits. And step 3. Delete your saved credit cards from your web browsers. Make it annoying. Force yourself to get up, go find your wallet, and manually type in those numbers. You want to re-trigger that pain of paying.
It all comes down to this really powerful thought. By understanding the architecture of our own irrationality, we can design environments that protect us from our own impulses. It's not about having superhuman willpower, it's about designing a life where you just don't need it. Now, if you want to dive deeper into your own subconscious and figure out exactly what's driving your spending, check out the description below. I've linked the Klontz Money Script inventory down there so you can discover your own hidden script. So the big question I'll leave you with today is this. The next time you get that sudden urge to hit buy now, is it actually you making that choice, or is it just your brain following a script?